Hi everyone and welcome to
North Talk Podcast
hosted by Nicole.
and Alex.
We're giving you the latest about lifestyle
Relationships.
and general nonsense.
We're available on YouTube, iTunes and Spotify.
And you can also follow our Instagram at North Talk Pod.
Remember to leave us a 5-star rating.
And most of all, enjoy.
3, 2, 1. Back in the room. You have ice. Iced up. Right. So, where were we, Nicole?
Yeah, so I think moving
Just
on
did
then,
the pets, hadn't we? Just
yeah,
did the
we
pets.
covered the pets off. So I think next one, this is another one drinking related, which
It's everything, and it's to do with the northeast. It's like, oh yeah, drinking.
I know.
It's just
So, this is a really good one, and I think this was my idea at the time. And it's a really, really, really good way to find out a lot about your partner or get engaged.
whoa.
Why have I just said that?
Get engaged.
Engage with your partner, not get engaged. No, engage. Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
like it.
So, if you go onto Pinterest and you can type in relationship questions, and you can pick any ones that you want. It can be any amount of questions, and you basically can sit and have a drink together, and you can read the questions to each other, and that other person has to answer them. Anything could be on these questions. So if you what I used to do is I used to have a skim and down the questions and have a look, and if I sort of like the look of it, I would just go for it. And obviously, sometimes you don't realise what you're getting yourself into, so you're like, reading it,
some
you're
of
like,
them
oh
are a
my
bit like
God.
a lot of them quite American as well, weren't they?
Yeah,
Like hook up.
Yeah.
I used to call quite well.
Yeah, but obviously I think that was it's really fun because you have to answer it, and then you never know what that person's going to come back with or say, but you get to find a lot out about that person.
And it like breaks down the barrier of like it being awkward and you asking like, oh, so like da-da-da. Like it kind of was just, it's because it's not you, is it? You're reading a question that's on the internet.
Yeah, technically you're not asking that question, but you're getting to find out the answer anyway. So you might have wanted to ask a question for a long time and never really had the balls? The balls to do it? Is that, am I meant to say that?
The balls.
But then obviously it comes up on this question, you ask it and it doesn't look like it's you. So
and because you're having a few drinks, it just gets flowing, doesn't it? Like we did it so many times when we first met each other as well, didn't we? Just to like, it just does break down a barrier, doesn't it?
So
like,
I mean, an example of the questions, I think it would be like something about what happened on your first, like, have you had any weird first dates or something like that?
Yeah. Good conversation points, doesn't it, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it was like what qualities do you like in someone, and what it was stuff like that, wasn't it? Some of them was quite deep, and some of it was quite like shallow and like
there was
fun.
quite a few deep ones, wasn't there? But it's something that I don't feel like I would ever ask.
Never. I've never done that with anyone else, and like it was just such a good idea, wasn't it? But yeah, we did it several times. It was enjoyable. I would highly recommend anyone do that. So what do they do? Go on to Pinterest and
So all you do is you go into Pinterest and you'll type in relationship questions, and you can pick. There's so many on there, and you can just pick which one you feel comfortable doing. I mean, there was times that would looked at stuff. Or you can basically pick any type of questions on there, and like I say, there can be really deep questions. It can just be general day-to-day questions, whatever. But if you like the look of one, you just simply click on it and think, right, I'm going to ask these ones.
Yeah.
But there was loads on. There was some that I'd went on and had a look, and I thought, oh, they're a bit weird.
Some of them were weird, weren't they? Like sexual weird, wasn't it? Like some of them
stuff that you just don't really want to ask as well.
And you're like, you wouldn't even want to know the answer, and you're like,
Americans,
man, it was the American ones that were weird. They were like, so how many guys have you hooked up with? 70 or 80, wasn't it? It was like some real weird shit.
Yeah. So I would definitely recommend that.
Yeah.
Next up, board games or board game.
Board games.
Bored. Yeah. So, one of my friends got me a board game. Got us Monopoly, not just Monopoly, the longest Monopoly. Now, if you've ever seen this, obviously it's in the title.
It was.
We tried to give it a go. So normal Monopoly. I mean, I hadn't played it for me. And you hadn't played that for like years ago.
Years, yeah. I was a kid.
So we thought, oh, how bad can it be?
Bad can it be? The famous last words, wasn't it?
Yeah. Anyway, it's designed to last like months and months, apparently.
Yeah, I think the quickest someone finished it was 47 consecutive days, I believe. So yeah, we got about 5 hours deep. I was getting beat to bits, wasn't I? You were smashing us, and I was like...
I was winning.
I was ready to flip the board over. I was like...
He didn't want to play anymore.
We did play Connect 4 though, and that was good. Connect 4 was good.
Yeah,
remember that?
Highly recommend Connect 4.
I might get that shit back on. Hey?
Yeah, so this Monopoly anyway, so the reason now it lasts so long, so actual Monopoly money, instead of just having it like this, your normal size Monopoly money, you could actually cut that into 4 pieces.
I'm actually having flashbacks to it.
Quadruple your money. We didn't even want to go down that route because
I was literally hiding the money because I was like, I don't want it to say that there's this much to play with.
We didn't want it like that.
Oh God, yeah.
Now, obviously, you're meant to play it with a few more people, I think, and that would make it go a little bit quicker.
But that's the whole thing, isn't it? Lockdown, it's like it's just you and who you're with, isn't it?
I know, yeah. But I feel like it probably would have went on the whole of this year. I mean, we should have got it back.
Do you know what it is? We actually probably could have lasted the whole of the pandemic.
I know. Yeah. So, I mean, any other ones? Because we haven't played anything else. We just played Connect 4.
I'm sure we tried a few other games, did we not? I brought a few board games over, but I can't remember.
Buckaroo.
The doctor one where you have to go.
Outrage.
But no, yeah, games, isn't it? It's like traditional stuff that you wouldn't usually do, but we did it because we were like, what else is there to do?
Yeah, maybe we should try and think of another one to do.
Get another one.
I think we sometimes can get a bit bored easy though.
Yeah, but it's like Cards Against Humanity. I think that's a great game, but with 2 people, it just doesn't. It's one of the you need like 4, isn't it? Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of games are like that, where Connect 4, it's 1-on-1.
Yeah, that doesn't last very long though.
No.
You get
should be like Connect 20 or
you
something.
win like 3 times and you're like, yeah, what's next?
You win. I won 3 times.
No.
But no, that was good.
Yeah, so I think the next one is just a bit of a serious one, isn't it? Just seeing this lockdown as an opportunity.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I think you either take it one way or you take it another, isn't it? And it's the way I see it, it's like you can only control what you can control. We can't control what the government says, the pandemic, this. So all this is, you can either be like, oh, this is the worst, or you can be like, nah, I see this as an opportunity because you'll never have this much probably time to spend like with your loved ones. To focus on things that you usually would be too distracted to focus on, wasn't it? Like, we've worked on a few projects that, like, I know for a fine fact I wouldn't have took off if it wasn't for having all this free time. And I just think, like, use this time wisely, because we'll come out this, right? This won't last forever. And, like, you want to come out of it with something to show. Yeah. And say, like, oh, during this, I worked on this, and this.
Yeah, I think it's so easy. When you're in the normal life, you've got so many distractions, so...
obligations, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think you might have your friends are always inviting you to do things, and you don't want to miss out. There's always something, isn't there? You want to obviously live your life, and you want to go to places, and you want to do plans with people. Yeah. Every time you're doing that, it's just delaying what you could actually be building for yourself.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
And you feel like obliged to go and do these plans, and you don't feel obliged to just sit and spend that time all on yourself so much. But when you're forced to do that, that is the opportunity there. Yes. Where you can actually grab that and take it, and you're not allowed to go and see anyone, you're not allowed to go out, and you're not allowed to drink, because think how much that sets you back when you go out and you have a drink and you're hungover, and then all of a sudden there's a few days
all of a sudden it's Monday again, isn't it? And you're like,
it takes you ages to pull yourself around, and it's just this recurring cycle every single week or few weeks and stuff like that. And it's like, this is the only way to get out of that and actually do something and make something.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a really big one. I think just on the back of that as well is I was just going to touch on, obviously on lockdown 1, you know, we were in the better weather.
Yeah.
And there was obviously we got a bit more sunshine as well, didn't we? So I felt like that was a lot easier to manage, because you could get yourself outside in the outdoors.
Yeah.
You can get yourself in the sun and get your vitamins and stuff like that from the sun. Whereas I think this lockdown 2 is going to be much more struggle for people.
It's bad timing, isn't it?
Yeah. It's obviously the darker nights are coming in. You know, and the weather's just not great, and that's when
there's just no sunlight anymore, is there? That's the thing. In the northeast as well, isn't it? It's just grim.
Yeah, really grim. And I just think you're missing out on that extra light and extra sunshine, and I think overall that can just really dampen your mood and stuff like that. And so to dampen your mood, not be able to spend time with your friends, not be able to go anywhere, you haven't got like your social life and stuff, I think that'll really affect people.
I think it's going to be a really tough time. I think, like I say, the first one was tough, but there was like kind of, like you say, there was a light at the end of the tunnel. Whereas I think this one, a lot of people will be like, we've just came out of this, now we're going back in it, and it's like
second time around, and like how hasn't it resolved? And
it's actually getting worse. That's what's so it's so scary. Like the way it's all being ran, but it's just it's just. But this just goes back to what we were saying about, like, this is why it's so important. Get out on that bike ride, like, together, like as a couple, do it. Like, go for walks, you've got to do these things, because even little stuff like, it might sound stupid, but sunbed shops are closed now, so you can't even like go on a sunbed to get like your vitamin D, which is vital. You know what I mean? So you've got be clever about it. You do. We're gonna have to be clever about how we do things. You know what I mean? Because you can just so fall into it's a slippery slope, isn't it, of getting down.
Yeah, that's another thing. And so what I've been doing lately is just doing a lot of research on things that can actually help. So I mean, one of those things is actually what we said, vitamin D supplement.
Yeah.
So making sure that you take one of those every day, which is meant to help massively. I think obviously for the lighting situation, there's an alarm lamp that you can get.
Yeah, you've been looking at this, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been looking into this loads. You can get an alarm that actually wakes you up with light. Now, because I was saying to you, like, that would be so much better, because obviously you used to have that awful alarm.
Yes, it's the standard iPhone alarm, isn't it? Just like doo doo doo.
It's so loud,
I know what you're saying.
And it like gives you a shock when you wake up.
Makes you want to throw your phone across the room, doesn't it?
It's like you wake up in a mood and angry because
that's just me every morning.
You wake up like that because you've been woken up by a horrible iPhone alarm. So this is a massive help, and this lamp, which wakes you up with light, is meant to replicate the.
It's
light.
Like the sun waking you up, isn't it?
It's like the sun's like a sunrise, so it gradually wakes you up with this light, and you can tone it down at night time, so it'll gradually have a sunset function as well, to actually tone down at night time. It's just meant to improve your mood. It's meant to help your overall sleep and your overall like when you wake up, how happy you are.
It's kind of like natural. That's why, isn't it? It's like taking it back years ago. You would go to sleep when the sun goes down, wake up when the sun rises. It's like nothing's artificial, is it? That's the whole.
And you can get the normal standard lamps where you can sit in front of them on a morning for like half an hour or an hour, and that is just meant to help massively. So there's that.
Well, I think you might invest in one, mightn't you? And we'll check in and see how that works.
Yeah, definitely.
Interesting.
I think I'll probably feedback on that once I get mine, definitely, and how it's worked or how it's helped me.
Yeah.
And I think, what's another thing? Good thing as well, which can make you positive during all this thing, is 5 things that you're thankful for.
Oh, gratitude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's quite a good thing as well. So if you can think of 5 things that you're thankful for, just to get you through this time, and just think about those every day.
Yeah, it's because it's like, this is you might get locked into the thing of like, oh, when's this going to end? But it will end.
Yeah, it will.
And you know what I mean?
Like this
it's not, and it's just because a year is such a long time, especially when you're. I think when you're young, like I would have hated to have been 18 this year. I'd have been thinking, this is like one of the, because I know the year of me being 18 was like one of the best years of my life. You know what I mean? Because it opens up so many more doors, doesn't it? Of like everything, and I just think they've been robbed of that year. But things will get better, and it's just you've got to, like you say, just be thankful for stuff and think about the big picture. I think that's what it's all about, because we can get locked into this little bubble, can't you? Of like, this is all you see.
Yeah.
But on the big picture, everything will be fine.
Yeah.
It always is.
Yeah.
Like, always will be.
Yeah, definitely. And you can do anything that works well for you as well. One of the things someone had taught me is what they do to actually make them feel better during this time is actually sit in a dark room and put a hairdryer on.
Skeptical snake eyes.
Now, I've never personally tried this, and I don't know if I would, because having a hairdryer on just reminds me of actually blow drying my hair, which takes forever, and that's not a good experience. So I think if I did that in a dark room, it would just remind us of that. So I don't think personally that would help me, but it might work for you.
Might work for me.
Yeah, it might work for you. But everybody might have something different what actually makes them feel, calmer, and tones down their anxiety and stuff like that. So, whatever works for you, give it a try. And if there's anything, you can always let us know as well, through our Instagram.
Yeah.
Or YouTube channel.
Our Instagram is North Talk North Talk Pod. So yeah, you could obviously message us on there. We're on YouTube. Unfortunately, our YouTube channel, you can't get a channel name until I think you have 100 subscribers, and then you can have like a custom URL. Right. But if you just typed in North Talk Podcast, it comes up, doesn't it? We've checked it, so yeah, you could find us on there, and just drop us a message, and we'd be happy to discuss, wouldn't we, or elaborate on anything.
Yeah.
Or help anyone out. If anyone feels down, just message us, isn't it? We'll come on the podcast. Virtually, obviously. Don't want to run it. But.
Yeah, definitely. We're here. I feel like we've got a lot of advice to give when it comes to stuff like that, and there's only going to be more. So we will be thinking, what else can we do during these next few weeks? So, we can always report back with that as well. Yeah. Definitely.
That's it. I think one of the main things we're doing this podcast for is because, obviously, we've always liked the idea of it, but I do think we can give a lot to people, like, free knowledge. Like, not so much knowledge, but, like, I think I've learned so much off podcasts over the years where people aren't even trying to give advice, but you just take stuff away from things. And I just feel like a lot of stuff we've discussed, like just on this podcast, I feel like you could take a lot of stuff from it, which could like help you in little ways, and especially like couples during this time. Like I would have loved in March us to hear this, and we could have like, do you know what I mean? And known like, oh, we could do this, because it was so down and dingy, wasn't it? At the start, we were like, what are we gonna do?
Yeah,
especially when you got furloughed as well. You were like, oh my god, what am I gonna do?
Yeah, definitely. So 100%. Well, great.
Yes, that was a good one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Got
thanks
a bit
for
deep.
listening, and thanks for watching.
Yes, thank you guys, and yes, we'll be back next week.
Same time. Tune in.
Same time.
Tune in.